Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. All right. I'm trying to figure out which cards to use. Okay. We got this. We got this. Because it's our house. anywho. Ow, Joy. Joy was in my lap and she just jumped off. She's apparently not about the live stream life this morning. Anywho, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I was told is things are speeding up and that connect is changing. It's supposed to say connection. It's all good. The connect. Let's go ahead and change that because that's just going to drive me nuts. That's going to drive me nuts. Let's change that real quick. Connection. Changing. Connection is changing. Okay. Let me get some cards ready. How are you guys doing this morning? Is everyone doing good? Doing good? Here goes. Oh, I didn't put it back on the screen. There we go. So we got a couple of these cards. Got a couple of these cards. We're getting this party started. Joy, what are you doing? What are you doing, Joy? She's doing something. You can hear her. Joy, you want to come say good morning? She is just blowing snot at you guys. Joy, you want to come say good morning? Come here. Come here, girl. We didn't want to talk to you anyways. She's not coming. Where is she? I don't know where she is, guys. She's hiding somewhere that I can't see her. Joy, come. Come. Joy, come. I hate when she ignores me like this. Over on this side. Over on this side. Come on. I say good morning. I say good morning. No. Go. Crazy girl. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started. Here goes. Ooh, deceit in reverse. So it's almost a sense of either you have to stop lying to yourself or someone is not, they're not being fully honest or something. High Priestess of Spirit. You're needing to reach higher and higher levels of consciousness, dimensional consciousness, where you can go ahead and begin really trying to figure out just what's going on with my, I can't like this. I'm sorry, but I cannot. I was trying to do eyeliner with Joy in my lap, and this is just not, this is going to kill me if I keep. Okay. The unevenness of it all was just too much for me. I couldn't. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it'll have to do. I just could not do that one eye and leave it that way. Let me just, we leave it like that now. All right. So you have to reach higher and higher levels of dimensional consciousness to reach more profound levels of understanding of yourself, your journey, your life, all of that. Love. For some of you, this has to do with your self love journey. For some of you, it's something that has to um, be allowed to mature. And I think what's happening is for whatever connection this is referring to, um, it's going to be allowed to kind of become sweeter. When fruit gets sweeter, what ends up happening is it's maturing, it's ripening. Ooh, and the chaos is going to do that for you. There's going to be some type of chaos that's going to cause this frequency accretion. It's going to cause you to pull in much more frequency and reach that next level. That next level of just full on consciousness, full on entering into a dimensional level of consciousness. Rigid. Now is really the time for you to begin allowing more of whatever is being shed to be shed. The rigidity has to be corrected, because what ends up happening is as you go through processes like this, if you are not flexible, you will shatter, you will break apart, you will end up feeling some type of way about yourself, and whatever that type of way is, it's going to be very, very destructive about yourself. And that's intentionally designed to be that way, that type of experience, just so that you can break apart the pieces of you that have kept you very, very rigid. Creation does not like rigidity in that way. It doesn't. It will wear you down. It will wear you away. It will crack you. It will shatter you. All of these different things. Playful. It's a sense that you have to approach your life in a more playful manner. You have to approach the different experiences in a much more playful manner. What is this energy? There is some I don't know. Loyalty. I do know. I don't want to say publicly. I just, yeah, whatever. Loyalty. Allowing yourself to recognize what you are trying to be loyal to. Just really becoming fully aware of where you are within your connections with other people, within whatever it is you're building with someone else. Are they a reflection of your loyalty, or are you simply overly loyal to someone who never earned that type of loyalty to begin with? Is this going to be the very thing that's going to be utilized to get you to, I don't know, let go of old patterns? That's the feel that I get. Like it's a time to let go of old patterns, really allowing yourself to open your hand and let creation remove from your reach the things that are not healthy for you. Invisible in reverse. There are people watching, there are people, those who are observing what you're going through. And for some, they're observing because they are waiting for you to fail. That's their hope, that their hope is that they're waiting for you to fail. I have this theory that a large portion of the people who come and watch you in your life, they're not watching you for good reason. I feel like a large portion of people, and you can tell by their reaction to your accomplishments, okay? But a large portion of people really are not interested in being around to watch you succeed. They might say that, but what they're truly waiting for What they're truly, truly waiting for is that opportunity to see you crack, to see you fail. Who cares what they're waiting for, though? That's the thing. Why are they so important? I don't feel like they are. I don't feel like you have to concern yourself with why they're there. As long as you're aware that that's not someone you can trust to the degree that they're trying to convince you to trust them. That's all you have to remind yourself. High Priestess of Water. Allowing yourself to flow, to have that flow and have that sense of self, to really, really allow. Water is not afraid of drowning. Did you know that? Water is not afraid of drowning. Why? Because it's what it's made of. It's not afraid of itself. Be more like water. Stop being afraid of yourself. Stop being afraid of the process that you're in. And drawing it out. I think a lot of what's happening here, it's like we're afraid to step into this High Priestess of Water, right? This elevation of flow. And so we're making these decisions that draw things out. I'll never delete DMs. I'll block you and ban you, but I'll never delete it. I always document your history of behaviors towards me. I learned that real good early in life. Never get rid of the evidence that proves the maltreatment. Now, I don't allow myself to stay in an environment that causes me to feel like I have to continue to document everything you're doing, because that's obnoxious. Why would I stay there? The moment I begin to feel like I need to document what you're doing, I will document it and you're gone. You're out, because I'm good. I'm good off that. I'm really, really good off that. So, hi, Miss Joy. So you have to allow yourself to no longer draw things out in that way. Come on. Girl, you know my chest is sore, Joy. She was asking to be up here with me. Anywho. So she could lick my feet. So disgusting. Stop drawing it out. Alchemist in reverse. It's this thing of not being willing to either to create alchemical change or to learn how to alchemically change your environment, your life. You not knowing how to do something is not an excuse to not do it. There's many, many things I didn't know how to do that I took the time to learn to do on my own so that I would know how to do it. Not taking the time to learn how to do the things you need to do creates a codependency with the person who provides you with that. What I think more of my focus for my work is teaching people rather than simply just doing private sessions. Now, I love the time I spend with my clients in private sessions. I really genuinely do. I love it. But I don't want to create dependency. I don't. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel, breathe, and live as though you are my equal, because you are. Because you are. So these connections that are changing, are they encouraging you to live, breathe, exist as an equal? Or are they encouraging you to recognize how powerful you are through adversity? You have to be aware of what you're getting yourself into. So union, you're getting yourself into something. I'm not too sure what you're getting yourself into, but you're getting yourself into something. Whatever it is, it's gonna be amazing. Okay. I don't know if it will be amazing. Michael's trying to turn this reading into something that I don't want it to be. So we're just going to carry forward. Do you guys hear that high-pitched squealing? Stop. It's extremely high-pitched. I refuse. Boundaries, having boundaries and enforcing them, really being the first one, the most dedicated one to the respecting of your own boundaries. Other people, it's nice when other people respect your boundaries. It's even nicer when you don't necessarily need to wait for them to comply, where you can enforce your boundaries, because there are those who are not really fully capable of seeing and understanding the concept of boundaries. They see a line and they think, oh, that's what I need to step over. I don't know. There's people that exist that are like that. Oh my gosh, there was a bug. There are people who exist who are like that, and you kind of have to, you know, help them to learn. That's where you stay behind. That's not what you step over. Okay. Remembrance, ancestors, allowing yourself to remember some of the history of what your people, whether it's your family or your ancestors, what you guys have been through. Now, what you've been through personally, you've already been through that. So theoretically, it should be done. But if you're going to continue to cycle through that, then it's not going to be done. And you're going to make it into something that really, really is a not so good experience for yourself. Part of the remembering what you've been through is for empowering you to choose something different. Part of the importance of that is so that you can remember what you don't want to experience once again. So is this things are speeding up and that connection is changing? It's this, there's two senses that I get. Okay. The first one, um, Michael says stop dancing around it. Anywho, connections are changing. I will just leave it at that. Like, um, connection is changing. Whatever you thought it was, it's not that anymore. And it carries with it this feeling. And I don't know that this is going to apply to everyone, but the sense that I get is what you once thought was just completely done. The cycle is over. It's returning back. But see, although you experienced some form of toxicity with that at one point, and maybe that's what led to that connection falling apart to begin with the last time. I have an issue with that though. Okay. Uh, it's going to be a different type of connection this time around. But see, I have an issue with that because it's like if they've already shown you their capacity to do wrong to you, to be hurtful or harmful in their behaviors. I mean, I wouldn't let them back in. I really wouldn't. I would, that would be so hard. I don't know. I don't know. Let's just keep looking at the cards. Foundation is in reverse. Okay. Um, I don't know. I'm wondering if what this is telling us is that the foundation of your argument, your stance, your opinion, it's on this upside down logic. I don't know. I feel like I have to be really, really careful with these types of messages because um, I want to make sure that, well, Michael says that I don't have the authority to dictate how the messages will be received and used. I know I don't. But, my concern is I will say something and then someone will take that as a green light to allow toxicity back into their life. You have to use your discernment. Amen, Ben. This is my concern. Whoever it is, they still have parasites. They're still parasitic in nature. They still have things that um, initiate thought inception type behaviors. The thing with parasites is that they can't create characteristics that don't naturally exist within you, right? They can't do that. They don't have the power or the authority to do that. Joy, stop. Her nails. They don't have the power and authority to do that. They just don't. So what they can do is exacerbate what already exists to trigger that to come to the surface, to amplify that existing potentiality. Like, for example, if you just don't have it in you to be aggressive, um, if you don't have it in you to be aggressive, then a parasite can't cause you to become aggressive. It can't. It can't amplify something that doesn't exist within you. So you have to be very, very careful with what you are going through, how you receive these messages. I want to make that so abundantly clear. Okay. But here's the thing, this message carries with it a powerful, powerful potentiality for those who exited out of things because of avoidance, not because of toxicity. Like for me, for example, um, sometimes I rarely do that these days, but sometimes there were instances in the past where I walked away from connections, not because um, it was toxic, but because it's this thing of like, I don't know where this is going, and it makes me uncomfortable because you bring out an aspect of me that is not a toxic aspect, but it's one that I haven't fully understood yet. I used to have issues with being overly cautious with my self control, right? Just being very meticulous in my cultivation of my environment and myself. And that was not healthy for me. And being around people um who would encourage me or inspire me to kind of just be more um random. It created a sense of discomfort within me, and so I didn't like to be around that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what how this is going to turn out, and it never really turned out something negative. It was more like, this is affecting my ability to be excessive with my self control, because I could be excessive with self control if I allow that part of me to get out of hand. Excessive, become highly fixated on that. So you have to be aware of, if someone is coming back into your life, you have to be aware, remind yourself of why they exited to begin with. If it's something toxic, I don't know that you need to be having this mindset of, oh, they've changed. I'm here to heal them. I can make it work this time. Maybe they're being brought back into your life to work on that mindset that you have, so that you can finally recognize how toxic that very mindset is. Ooh, Ben is just coming out with some gems today. Parasites can't come up with original thought. They can't. They cannot. All they can do is regurgitate and manipulate that regurgitation. That's where codependent relationships to play. Without others feed on, they can't function. And this is the very reason, that when I walked away from people who were toxic, who were parasitic in nature towards me, they went absolutely ape shizzles. They went ape shit. Why? Well, because they needed me to be able to siphon from me my ideas, my thoughts, my stance. They needed that. And without that, what did they have? Nothing, because they cannot come up with original thought. So be careful with how you take today's message. I'm probably going to continue to remind you to be careful and mindful for the rest of the reading. Okay? Be careful how you apply today's message in your life. You have to be aware of what you did to co-create that codependency. We really need to begin exiting out of just continuously pointing out what someone did to us. You did something too. You did something too. You co-created that as well. I don't really care what you did. I don't care what they did. Check yourself. Take accountability so that you don't repeat that again. But if you want to focus on, just constant, they did this to me, they said that, they blah, 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 they blah, 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 they blah, 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 they blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's all it sounds like to me. They blah, blah, blah. It all kind of just melts together into a they blah, blah, blah. And then when you're asked, like, well, then what was your part in it? How dare you, Emmy? I'm the victim here. I mean, it's not really my place to determine who the victim is or isn't. I'm kind of just here to point out that there's more to think about. There is more to think about. If you cannot take accountability for the situations that you co-create, you will co-create them again with other people. And then you will seek even more other people to fix what these next set of other people did to you, and the next set of other people, and the next set of other people. Had I allowed myself to learn the first time a group was formed to cyberbully me, there would have been multiple groups after that. There would not have been multiple groups after that. I take full accountability for it. I did not deserve that. I did not ask to be treated that way, but I allowed. I take accountability for that. And I promise you, the moment I no longer allowed, there's no groups to cyberbully Emmy. None. If groups exist, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you exist. You're not a part of my world and my reality. Stay on the fringes, because that's the furthest in you're going to be able to go. Stay on the fringes. Keep watching my videos. Be a silent hater. I don't care. You will not have a voice in front of me. You will not get my attention. You will not have any of that. Continue. Waste the energy on me. I don't care. I don't care. And that was the thing. I retracted my permission. I took it back. I took my power back. And if you're not going to take your power back, things are speeding up and that connection is changing. For all we know, this could mean that this new relationship that you're in that was perfect, it's speeding up, and that beautiful connection is now being reverted back to the same type of connection you've had in all your disappointing relationships. That's up to you. The moment I see myself reverting back to a specific space of what may be insecurity, a specific space of being triggered, where someone will say something that will trigger old events to be remembered by me, and now I'm like, is this, oh shit, am I about to repeat that again? Because I don't want to repeat that again. And you know what I tell myself? You're not going to repeat that again because you're not that person anymore. So don't make it a point to go back to being that same person. I tell myself that. I tell myself that. Sometimes what we do is we very covertly, we're hiding it from ourselves, okay? We very covertly encourage a new person to behave just like the old person. These fucking bugs. It's a little like, yeah. I got to spray all my plants. That's it. I got to spray all my plants. I've had it. I've had it with bugs. Anywho, intensification in reverse. It makes me feel like you're losing your personal power. It makes me feel like for some, that's the message, that what's intensifying is the negative, and what's losing its intensity is the positive, the growth. It's like backsliding. Is it because you don't know what you intend to accomplish? Is it because you don't know what you need to do here? Remember, what did I say in the very beginning of this live stream? Not knowing is no longer a viable excuse. We live in the age of technology, the age of having information right at your fingertips, right? So, what are you going to teach yourself? This is a matter of deciding what you want to learn. What are you going to teach yourself? I was thinking, there's ways to take classes for free from Ivy League colleges. You would simply be auditing the class and pass or fail. If you want the certifications, the certificates that go with those classes, you're going to have to pay. But if you just want to learn, you want to enrich your person, you can find ways to learn those things for free. And I was kind of just like, should I learn enough to become a lawyer? Because law really does fascinate me at times. At times. I don't have time for that though. I don't. Should I go ahead and become a self taught botanist, herbalist, naturopath? You can purchase those books. You can purchase them secondhand. You can download them online for free. Are you willing to commit to yourself in that way, where you're the only one that you answer to? I've taught myself quite a bit doing this, quite a bit. But see, here's the thing, I can hold myself accountable. And so maybe what I'm saying is not actually what I'm saying. Maybe what I'm saying is to see, for you to see how capable you are, how willing you are to hold yourself accountable. What was your reaction to that? Your reaction to me saying that you could teach yourself something? Was it like, oh no, I couldn't, because you don't want to hold yourself accountable? If I don't understand the terminology that's involved in the literature I'm reading, I look up the terminology. I understand the definition. I know how to use the word. And then I apply it to the very passage that I'm reading as part of my literature for self enrichment. That's what I do. That's what I do. I hold myself accountable for retrieving the components that are necessary for me to continue to proceed forward with what I'm attempting to do. Now, that's not to say it's always easy. Sometimes you'll get frustrated. It's okay to get frustrated. It's not okay to use your frustration as a viable excuse to give up on yourself. That's self doubt. Self doubt is one hell of a. So, healer in reverse, we need to begin assessing, do we simply want to use others as an excuse because we're a healer and we need to heal other people, but we can't heal ourselves because why? Have you guys noticed that a lot of healers, their main wound has to do with finances? It has to do with finances. And have you guys noticed that the spiritual people, they have this narrative that the true healers don't do anything for money, is to keep you from healing yourself. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. I am sitting here in front of you as a healer. I could not truly allow myself to accept that title of healer. For those of you who've known me for quite a few years, you've been with me on my journey for quite a few years. It's only within the past maybe year, if that, that I've begun to refer to myself as a healer, because I couldn't refer to myself as a healer until I healed or began the process of healing such a massive gaping wound. Healing my relationship with money, correcting this mindset, this program that I took all the way deep down into my core, where it's like, if I allow myself to receive, then I'm selfish, I'm greedy. No, I'm not. I've been doing this work publicly for quite a few years now. Not a lot of years, but enough for me to be able to see my patterns. I've never misused money. That's not how I am. I don't try and acquire money to hoard it, to purchase things to show that I'm above other people. I just don't. That's not me. That's not within me. That's why parasitic things can't use greed to corrupt me. The greater the income, the more capacity I have to assist other people. Ooh, I got to read something to you guys. Let me hold on. I got to read this. I got to read this out loud. Building community capacity by working with underserved members of marginalized communities. The mission statement of Soulwork Synergistics. Building community capacity by working with underserved members of marginalized communities. When I allow the members of marginalized communities, these members who are underserved, to witness me as a member of the marginalized community who also was underserved, yet I overcame my circumstance because guess what? That's what I decided. Not because I had a hand up, not because I had a handout, but because I decided I'm done being a statistic. I'm done playing the role that society tells me I need to play. For the first couple years, don't get me wrong, I did play that role. I felt like I was obligated to play this role of just kawaii Asian girl, and I have to speak in a baby voice because I don't want people to think that I'm aggressive. I'm fucking aggressive when I need to be. I am. You don't want to see that aggression come out? Don't fuck around and find out then. Very simple. It's very simple. Do I need to prove that I'm a badass? No, that just runs through my blood. I can still be whoever the fuck I feel like being today. If I feel like being jovial, I will be jovial. If I feel like I'm moody, then I need to sit myself down and figure out why. Because guess what? I have the authority over myself to regulate myself. You see how that works? It's not this thing of I'm in a bad mood, so I'm going to be in a bad mood with everybody. No, no, no. I'm going to sit myself down and figure out why I'm in this bad mood. Like, girl, what happened? What got triggered in you? What is that? That's a wound rising to be recognized. What's happening? What do we need to do to correct that? Not because those are broken parts of me that I should be ashamed of, but because those are the parts of me that need my love the most in that moment. And I deserve to love all the parts of me. It's very, very, very difficult for people to get to that space of taking accountability, of recognizing that, you know what? If I continue to live in this space where I continue to relive all of these different things that have hurt me and harmed me, then I'm being imprisoned by choice. I am imprisoning myself. I am shackling myself to that event. And that's why I live through that same pain day in and day out. Did you shackle yourself to the events of your life? When you refuse to take accountability, when you refuse to make the necessary changes, you know, last night my brother called me, right? We're FaceTiming. And he tells me about what happened with a client that he was working on. I guess I don't know if she's a young mother. It was a lady, and she had a young child, a toddler. My brother said maybe about 18 months old, right? And she got her toddler situated in front of the TV and gave her toddler snacks while my brother was going to work on her back or whatever injury she has. And he says that suddenly the baby is crying because the mother gave small cubes of cheese, like a Lunchables, like a little Lunchables bento box type thing. Small cubes of cheese, crackers, I guess some luncheon meats, and whole grapes. The baby starts to choke, still crying, so there's still some space in the airway. And the mother's freaking out now and whacks the baby in the back several times, which then lodges the food even further down. She couldn't reach it in the mouth, she couldn't sweep it out. So she thwacks the baby in the back and it lodges it further down the throat. Now the baby, the airway is completely blocked. The mother's freaking out. Luckily, my brother had enough thought to take the baby, invert the baby, and and then the cheese fell out. It fell out, and then the baby starts crying, and he's telling the mom like you can't feed her that kind of stuff. And the mom is insisting, oh no, it's okay. It's because she can't eat in front of other people because she gets distracted and she forgets to chew. I just have to watch her more closely. She already choked on this earlier today. And I told my brother, you need to tell her she cannot feed her baby those things anymore. And he goes, I don't want to tell her, I don't want to dictate to her. I don't want to like be like that, she's still the mom. And so I told my brother, her baby will die. Her baby will choke again, because that's what I see. Her baby will choke again, but you won't be there. And she doesn't know how to address when a baby chokes. She was very lucky you were there, because everything she did, from the food selection to the food size to the way, everything, the way she reacted, everything was a surefire way to make sure your child chokes to death. The freaking out, the lack of accountability. Who gives a toddler whole grapes? People can be like, oh my God, you're being judgmental. No, I'm being honest. I'm being honest. And that's part of the problem with society. We would rather spare the feelings of someone who might potentially cause harm because of their lack of knowing and their lack of accountability. I have hell kids. Yeah. Up until a few years ago, I've been a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom for over 20 years at this point. The moment my child begins to gag on something, I'm assessing, okay, what did you do? Did you give them food that's too small? Are they running around? Are they this? Is this that? Is what can I do to never recreate this situation? What can I do? And I just need to watch her more closely. These half-ass modifications that we do in our own lives. That's the thing. Cut it smaller? No. Explain to the child. My children are ridiculously intelligent. Why? Because I sit and I explain. One time, one of my kids started to choke on a piece of bread. First, you don't stick your hand in like that. That will cause it to be lodged further. You sweep from the side and scoop it out. And then I explained to him. He was a toddler. You have to stay seated when you're eating, and you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You do not concern yourself with what your brother is doing with his food. There will always be enough food for all of us. If we run out of your favorite snack, we will purchase more. You will have to wait a little bit, but you will always have more of the food you want to eat. Do not rush your eating because you don't want to share. You almost choked. If that covers your airway, if you put too much food in your mouth and it covers your airway, you will not be able to breathe. Mommy will only have a few minutes to get that out. And if I cannot, you might die. Can you promise me to please sit down in your high chair? Eat your food properly so this does not happen again. Yes, Mommy. Are you okay? I'm scared. I was scared too. Let's not do that again. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Make sure you chew your food really well. I give you the full size bread so that you can bite only enough to fit in your mouth. Don't push it in. The bread will become compacted. Bread that's soft can be easily swallowed. When you shove the bread in your mouth, it gets smashed and it gets harder. That can choke you. That's dangerous. Yes, Mommy. Okay. You good now? Yes. You want more bread? No. Okay. You weren't even hungry. You were just not wanting to share. I explain all this shit to my kids. They be knowing. And they remind each other when they were all toddlers, you should eat slower and drink more water. You might choke. Holding yourself accountable should have been taught to you as a child. It should have been taught to you. Many of us did not receive that. That's not an excuse. I did not receive that type of teaching myself. It's not an excuse. Oh, but I mean, I didn't have anyone growing up. Okay, neither did I. Neither did I. I basically raised myself. It's not an excuse. There's no excuse for anything that creates hardship for yourself. There will always be more. I think that helps to cultivate a mindset of abundance versus lack. Yes. Yes. There will always be more opportunities. There will always be more. I tell myself, I remind myself, the things that I miss out on, that wasn't for me at that time. That doesn't mean it will never be for me. And it doesn't mean there won't be other things that are for me. This girl is dreaming so deep. She's chewing food. My Chewini is dreaming about eating. She's chewing food in her sleep. Card number 1, awaken. Allowing yourself to reach those higher levels of awareness and accountability for self. It has nothing to do about blame. If you're still blaming, that's a large part of your problem. Because when you enter into that space of blaming, you obviously don't want to be blamed. Who wants to be blamed? And that's one of my pet peeves. The moment you blame me for something that I did not do is the moment I consider your place in my life. And maybe you should be removed. I'm so not joking. I don't play that shit with people. I don't. I don't care if you misunderstood me. I don't care if this is just a misunderstanding. The moment you show me your capacity to blame me for something that I did not do, you're probably going to be removed from my life. No joke. Now, it's not to say that you can't ever question me like, hey, did you do this? And I will tell you. I will be honest with you. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Should I not have done that? Oh, because I wanted, okay, I'm really sorry. I wish I knew. I should have probably asked you first. But the moment you're like, you blah, blah, oh, no, you're fucking out. That's it. That's it. I don't need that shit in my life. I don't need to return to that toxic space. It still exists within me. I don't need to return there. And if you're going to be more than willing to keep bringing me back there, you're going to have to be removed. You are. You're going to have to be removed because I don't want that in my life. I choose to only exist in a space of accountability, meaning I'm learning causation and effect with everything I experience in life. So it's not about you did this. It's that, okay, what happened here? Let me assess. All right, that component, that component, that component. What is a plausible solution for this? I remember I was at a relative's house and, our families are large. So there was a ton of toddlers playing, a ton of toddlers playing. And I kind of usually am the person that ends up watching and playing with all the toddlers while all the adults socialize. I don't like to socialize with adults. And so I went into the kitchen for a moment to prepare something. And then I heard one of the kids scream and start crying. And I was the closest to that play area. And so I went and I very calmly, all right, guys, is everyone okay? What happened? Can someone tell me what happened? And then in come all the parents, like, who the hell needs to be spanked? I was like, whoa, ask them what happened. My kids know, like, I want to know what happened before I start acting a freaking fool with everyone. So my kids weren't scared. And they were like, oh, so-and-so accidentally walked into so-and-so and their heads hit. No one hit each other. It's like, oh, so it was an accident? Yes. And then all the adults were like, oh, why are you just going to bum rush kids in a room, start threatening to beat them? I'm just saying, of course they're not going to tell what happened. You went in there threatening them. They're not going to tell you shit. I wouldn't tell you shit. I don't just randomly threaten my kids. Ask. Ask yourself the questions you need the answers to. Don't threaten yourself. Don't allow other people to put you in that situation where they're making you feel unsafe about telling the truth. Ask. I'm not just going to accuse, I'm going to ask first. Don't get me wrong. Once I ask and you give me the information that I need to confirm that now, okay, I'm going to be accusatory. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm going to ask first. I'm going to get confirmation. I'm going to get the information that I need to begin the process of discernment, discerning the possible solutions that are applicable to this situation. When was the last time we asked? When was the last time? When was the last time we opened up the channels of communication so that we could better understand exactly what we're trying to find solutions for? Oh, I love that, Ben. Empty threats come from empty vessels. And in case you guys don't know, if you're an empty vessel, you're an organic portal. You're an Uber driver for a demon. That's what I call demon whore. Demon Maria. Don't be a demon whore. It's a simple request. don't don't be a demon whore, please. Limitless. The solutions are limitless. It's not about consistently just finding solutions. It's also about learning how to implement them. Things are speeding up and that connection is changing. Is that change beneficial? What type of solutions do you need to find? Well, what type of situations you're dealing with? What type of changes are occurring? What is it? Surrender in reverse. This is about not surrendering to other people. This is about surrendering to yourself, to your soul, allowing your process to be just that, a process, not an end result. The focus is on the process. If your focus is primarily or strictly, girl, your nails are so sharp. If it's strictly on some end result that you want, but you're not willing to do what's necessary to get to that end result, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Say you're building a house, right? You're building a house yourself, and you don't want to take the time and the effort to properly lay the foundation, do the proper setup for the rebar and the proper type of concrete. You don't want to put the foundational fitting type stuff to place the wood into. You're just going to stick the wood into the cement. You're going to get dry rot. That wood is not going to last as long as you think it's going to last, even pressure treated. Once the foundation cracks, there was this mansion that was for sale, right? I saw it like maybe 2 years ago. It's a home. It had like, gosh, if I remember right, it was something like 8,000 square feet, and it had 6, 7 bedrooms, and just huge, and it was gorgeous, and it was for sale for like 300,000. Hello? You should go to you should call the advice nurse. Are you by yourself? Yeah. You should do it sooner rather than later so that maybe they can just adjust your medicine or assess you instead of admitting you. Call me later. Right. Um Mm. Mm. Oh, that triggered me. So this home, gorgeous home, it sits on a few acres. It's huge. A lot of upgrades to it. And it should have been easily over $2 million for that home. And it was being sold for like 600,000. And I was like, why? And I read the description, and there's a huge crack in the foundation. It's on a mountain. It overlooks a crack like that. Half the house will slide. Given enough time, half that house will slide and it will collapse. So you have to make sure you do the necessary work to be able to do what you need to do and have the end results that you want to have. Do you want something that's short term, or do you want something that's long lasting? Short term or long lasting? Which one? This message came up. Look inside. We're going to tell you all about it. Like, no joke. It's an email. Look inside. We're going to tell you all about it. Your higher self wants you to look inside yourself. It wants to tell you all about what it needs to do, or what you need to do, right? New chapter. It's a new chapter. You're entering into a new space within yourself. And whatever this space is, you are the writer. You are the one who will tell the story. You are the one creating the story that will be told by the narrator, which is also you. Emotions in reverse. Don't allow fear. Don't allow fear to be the very thing that causes an amplification of the distortions that are already present. Sometimes when you allow yourself to remain calm, right, you can pierce through the distortions and completely tear down that veil. Fear creates distorted perception, distorted expectation. If you stay calm, if you stay centered, you can pierce through the veil of fear. It requires your full presence. It requires you having the courage that can temper the fear. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to be devoid of fear. Things are speeding up, and little wobbles when you go faster, that's a huge, huge deal. Okay. I was watching this guy, and he does astrology, I believe. But I don't know. He was talking. This guy did a video, and he's talking. And I guess he was like a dirt bike rider for a while. I don't know if he did it professionally or what, but he was talking about when you get the wobbles, if you slow down, those wobbles will intensify because that's your fear. When you let off the gas, the wobbles become worse and worse and worse until eventually you fall off. So the best advice he could give is, once you get the wobbles, crank that bitch all the way up. Full gas, go faster. It will correct itself. If you are solid in your intention, if you are solid on what you know you're trying to accomplish, the wobbles caused by your fear will have minimal effect. Let's use a car analogy. You're driving and you don't really drive in snow. There's black ice on the road. You can't see black ice when you're driving. You hit that patch of black ice and your car loses control. What is the first thing you do aside from experiencing extreme levels of fear? What is the first thing you do? Slam on the brakes, jerk the wheel. No. And I've gone over black ice quite a few times. The first thing I do is take my foot off the gas and do not touch the brake. Look in my mirrors to make sure there's no one there and allow myself to get control of the vehicle. Small movements. Small movements. My hands will suddenly shift position to the 10 and the 2. It works. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do. I lock my elbows at my sides and a 10 to the 2, and I'm near the steering wheel because if I need to turn, it's going to be mild turns. My whole body is going to turn with me. I will load that fear into my muscles to create resistance to the knee-jerk reactions. And that's what I do every time. No matter how squirrely the vehicle gets, I always correct it within a few seconds. The moment you slam on your brakes, that's it. You're gonna lose control. You're probably gonna flip that car over if you slam it too hard. Yeah. Yes. It's that knee-jerk reaction that's rooted in fear that creates these different issues for you. Just remind yourself, whatever I go through, whatever this is, I'll make it out the other side. Whenever life gets difficult, whenever life gets scary, because I don't know what life is trying to present me, this is what I tell myself. Whatever this is, I'll make it out the other side. Another thing I like to remind myself and my husband, I told him this years ago when we were in a challenging situation. It was challenging because it defied the norms of what society tells us is okay to do, right? So he was stressed out, and I told him, you know what? You know what? Like a few years from, we're gonna look and we're gonna laugh. We're gonna laugh about this. We're gonna be like, it was crazy, right? It was crazy, but we got through that. And that stuck with him. When things get really difficult, when things are challenging, when it seems like it's too much, he'll remind himself. I hear him remind himself at times. We'll laugh about this later. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And he's gone from someone who will hyperfixate on the problem, therefore crippling himself from even finding a solution to implement, to let's just get this done. Let's get it done. I don't want to deal with this anymore, so let's get it done. Mm-hmm. How do you think we get so much done? We get it done. There's something that needs to be done. We're getting it done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're getting it done. And the more you want, the less time we have to get it done and the longer it will take us. So once we know what we need to do, we're doing it and we're getting it done. That's how we function at this point. That's how we function. Is it because I yelled at him and forced him? No, it's because I told him I'm not participating in that bullshit with you. I'm not doing that whole complaining thing. I'm going to sit and assess what needs to be done. I'm doing it. You're either going to help me or you're not. If you're not going to help me, move out the fucking way so I can get this done myself. That's what he's had to live with for over 20 something years now. It does something to someone when you're just like, hey, I'm not joining you there. I'm going to do what I need to do. Meet up with you later. Okay. It's not me nagging him. No, I unfortunately, I'm not the type of nagging that people people think like I'm gonna. No, I'm gonna ask you to help me once, possibly twice, nothing more than twice, because I'll assume maybe you didn't hear me the first time, so I'll ask you a second time, and if you ignore me, I'll do it myself. And yeah, that is a trauma response. hyper independence, that's a trauma response. It is. But here's the thing, the existence of that trauma response tells me that no matter how many people have failed me in life, no matter how many people have disappointed me, abandoned me, rejected me, I've always been able to take care of myself. Here's to recognizing our traumas and being empowered by them. I will always get it done. By myself, with people's help, it does not matter. When something needs to be done, it will get done. It will get done. And I won't be told that it won't. Because once I'm focused, I'm not hearing anything or seeing anything that takes from what I am attempting to accomplish right here, right now. That's how I function. That is how I function. Nothing will ever stop me. Nothing will ever keep me down. Anytime I get knocked down, I will get right back up. Every single time. Every single time. Hope. Take this hope, plant it, and let it blossom into knowing, into gnosis. Mirrored souls. There are those who are in your life who will be a mirror for you. What will they mirror? Only the things you give them permission to mirror. Will they mirror your toxicity? Will they mirror your healing? What will they mirror? Whatever you give them permission to mirror. Once upon a time, several groups were formed to mirror my internal wounds, my fear of myself, this irrational, ridiculous fear that maybe I'm demonic. And that's why I can heal people. Maybe it's that. Or maybe that's someone else's logic that I adopted. A logic that teaches me and justifies my self-hatred of me. Why do we believe the people who have the least valuable things to say? I find that we do that a little too often. Decision to believe the people who have the least valuable thing to say. They're usually the ones who speak with the most conviction. This is true. The ones who have the least to contribute to a conversation are the ones who try to create this air of superiority in that symposium. Yeah. Such distorted perceptions. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not. I'm so not. Free spirit, allowing yourself to miss yourself with your own bullshit. Right? We tell people, miss me with your bullshit. What if it's you? What if it's you and your own caca? Be still. Allowing yourself to enter into this space of stillness where your personal power gets ignited by your sacred flame. Could you imagine that? Hair made of fire is a power so strong that no darkness could ever squelch you. Just saying. Allowing yourself to get very, very still so that you understand exactly what's being burned away. Your hair is not on fire. Your hair is made of fire. Huge difference. Huge difference. The people who pretend to have hair made of fire, in reality, it's just an aesthetic. They have a lot to fear in life. They will compete and compare. And the changes they experience will always be something that further exacerbates the distortions with which they look through to see life. Those distorted goggles, it's like beer goggles, drunk on this intoxicating concept of power over others. Whew. Mm. I was watching Sandman last night or this morning, and the main character enters into hell and he's greeted by a demon. And he tells the demon, "Take me to your sovereign." I had to listen to that a few times. I was like, "Did you say sovereign?" And then I turned on the captions, and that's exactly what he said. "Take me to your sovereign." Woo! Because guess what? The sovereign is the highest authority in the land. When you're giving your power away to other people, you're not existing in sovereignty. I don't care what you classify yourself as. That's not sovereignty. It's not. When you enter into that space of sovereignty, you begin to take accountability and own all of the events of your life, everything you've experienced. And not only do you own it, you know how to utilize it, how to harness it, how to change that knowing and apply it in a way that it becomes wisdom, allowing yourself to become wise. I've been told that I'm wise since I was a small child, and I never quite understood it. I've been told since a toddler that like I'm a very old soul. I've been told by people for as long as I can remember all of these different things that make me so painfully aware of how different I am from other people. And it's this thing of I was so focused on the wounds that were inflicted by this realization of my differences because I had no one in my environment to teach me to celebrate that difference within me. And so now I'm teaching myself. And what have I learned? Even as a child, I did not have the perception of a child. I had the perception of an adult, someone in their prime. And as an adult, you don't punish children for not knowing better. So although they were adults in my life, they still saw and behaved as children, grown children, but children nonetheless. And if a healthy adult does not hold a grudge against a child for not knowing any better, then comes the reality of no longer needing to hold on to the negative emotions that were a result of the poor treatment I received from someone who looked like an adult, but actually is nothing but a wounded child. It's not about making excuses for the poor treatment, the bad behaviors. No, it's about allowing yourself the freedom to unlock that shackle and completely take it off. I don't have to be chained to those experiences anymore, nor do I need to reject them and pretend they never happened, nor do I need to feel ashamed of what I lived through. The same applies for you. This change that's coming, it's coming quick, it's coming in hot. You have to choose what to do with it. You have to choose how to direct it. See, the car can go, it can keep going until the fuel runs out, right? But where is it going to go? You have to be the one to drive it. Your life is the car. You are the driver. If you allow yourself to continue to exhaust yourself, you'll fall asleep at the wheel. And you have no right to wonder why you crashed. You know exactly why you crashed. You know exactly why your life hit a brick wall. You allowed yourself to participate in the programs that teach you in order to be seen as a good person. You have to deplete yourself to the degree that you are now in detriment. Detrimental depletion, that's how you become very fragile. Shields become fragile. They start to splinter. Those splinters, prime location to begin efforts at entering your field. Those are prime locations to breach. I heard someone. How she knows so much about demons? Do you really want the answer? Or was that rhetorical? If you really want the answer, I'll give it to you. But you have to really want it. You want the answer? You're scared. You're scared of what the answer will be. Instead of giving you the answer to that, I'll give you the answer to why you're afraid. Because you believe in me and my power, my capacity and capability more than I do. You recognize the gravity of the person you're viewing right now. Normally, that wouldn't be scary for someone. It's only scary when you have malignant intent towards me. So the real question is, what are you plotting and not yet aware of? Didn't think it'd go there, huh? As I said before, I have the ability to pierce through the veil of confusion and covert behaviors. I can see through down to your core if I want. That's why I intentionally blind myself most days. That's why I don't want to see people's intentions. Why? Because I'm not afraid of you. And regardless what you intend, I will negate that. If I do not give you permission, then that's exactly what you'll have, no permission. Now you're scared. Because I'm scary? Or because you realize that you're weak? Tough questions. Very tough questions. You asked the first question to begin with because you wanted to know what book I read. I did not read a book. You wanted to know what book I read because you wanted to read it too, so that you could maybe have power over demons the way you think I do. You're silly. You're very silly. You're not intentionally malignant. It's a malignancy that runs through you, though. It's from your history, in this life and previous other lives. I don't need your permission to scan you, and nor am I scanning. I'm looking you in the eyes and seeing you, as your soul allows me to. Souls feel safe around me because I'm in full control of myself and my power. It's the humans who can't control themselves that become afraid of seeing me as I am, of becoming aware of the gravity of the person that I am. Don't worry, not this life. I've conquered nations in previous lives. I'm not here for that in this one. And if you tried this in a previous life, I'd be worried. This life I've chosen to be peaceful. Everything is a choice. This life I choose peace. I've done enough in previous lives to create separation, division, ownership. I'm not ashamed anymore. I remember those lives. People were right to execute me. I was out of control. Balance had to be restored. This life, I choose to experience a life of balance and peace because I deserve it. I deserve to experience that while I fulfill my service. That's why I'm not here for notoriety. I'm not here for fame. I'm here to experience peace and to bring it to fruition for everyone who chooses peace right along with me. And not peace in a way where it's like, I hope people just leave me alone. No. Peace that's cultivated, where people will learn how to leave peace in peace. Like a lover says, leave peace in peace. Hold on. Let's see what this is. Ooh, look at you, baby boo. Okay, girl. Hold on. So here, let's look at this. Your emotions are neither good or bad, right or wrong. Feelings are what they are. They simply exist. Judging your emotions won't help you feel better. Remember that they will pass. When an emotion is strong, it feels like the truth. Just let yourself feel it. Allow it, then let it go. The letting is what it is. You really got to trust the seed you're planting will manifest. If you don't believe in yourself, the universe won't either. Ooh, love it. Yes, a lasting peace, Ben. And Yaya says, you can see straight through it. You're full of integrity. Oh, thank you. Not your fault that you can see straight through people without even trying to scan. You see straight through folks. It is what it is. It is. It is. It is what it is. And oftentimes I don't like to see the reality of people and their intentions with me. And I'm learning to embrace my differences. I'm learning to allow myself because in allow, I will be allowed to do it. I know my level of integrity. I know that I don't do anything that is not absolutely necessary or asked of me by creation itself. So, what do I have to be ashamed of? Because I'm different? Maybe it's time for people to see how different you are so they can understand there's a different way to live. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty sure I've affected a lot of people's perceptions of what spirituality actually is. And whatever distorted perceptions they once existed within, trying to be spiritual, after coming across me and my path, after hearing my words that are based in my opinions, pretty sure you see spirituality in a different way. And those who want to cling to the old programs, they don't like me. And I don't care. The world will change not because I force it, but because I invite you to join me in that change and free you to choose whether you want to change or not. And that's power. My lack of need or desire to be understood and accepted, that's power like you wouldn't believe. That is unstoppable. And I'm so glad to have had the history that I had as a child. Because guess what? I've never received approval. I've never been given permission. And so I never learned to seek it. Maybe the problem that you're facing has more to do with you still conducting yourself as that child, seeking out the very things that you were taught programmed, conditioned to seek out. I don't seek out love from other people. I don't seek out approval. I don't seek out camaraderie. I don't seek out friendship. I don't seek out anything. I never got that as a child. Does that make me broken? Only the rose-colored glasses broke. In terms of soul, I see very, very clearly. Very, very clearly, there's nothing broken about me, just like there's nothing broken about you. There is this process that we go through that breaks down all of the filters that we use to process the events of our lives. It's up to you what you do with that. If you see it broken, you can either replace it with something else, or you can try and reestablish the same filter. You change for a reason. I embrace every change. Oh, Miss Joy says it's time to go. Oh, yes. Hi, Lindsay and I. Sorry. I was reading what she wrote. If you'd like to join us for a Chord Lab workshop where we'll learn about energetic chords and how to address them, visit the link that Lindsay posted. It's going to be on the 20th. That's coming up. So if you want to be a part of this learning opportunity, cutting cords is not the way to do it. Invoking other beings to take care of the cords is not the way to do it. It is not the way to do it. About 95% to 97% of the information that is regularly disseminated, spiritual esoterica, it's not. It's not. Even the esoterica, unless you read the full manuals, and depending on which translation you have, it's corrupted. A lot of it is corrupted. And if you want to talk about, well, these are, there's a lot of information. I don't want to get into it. I do plan on coming live later today in the Soul Sanctuary to talk about some of the really the questionable things that I can't say in live streams. I will be talking about it in the Soul Sanctuary. If you'd like to be a part of that exclusive chat, you can go to the soulsanctuary.love and sign up there. That's a recurring contribution for the ministry that I lead. There's different tiers of contribution that you could choose. And if you're in the United States, this recurring contribution, it's not a membership. You're basically donating to the church, and that counts as a tax deduction. So who knows? Come join me. Soulsanctuary.love. I'll be live a little bit later. If you're already part of that, or if you're going to join that and you want to know what time, I have to figure out what time. I need to get some reduction in my inflammation. My joints are inflamed right now. So I don't know how long that's going to take. On the homepage of that, on the homepage of the private ministry area on the soulsanctuary.love, there's an announcement bar, and that's where I put the announcements of when I'm going to go live or have chats or whatever it is. You'll see it right there, the time. Oh, yes, y'all. The jalapeno bread. Oh, if Ryan is, no, not Ryan. Sorry, I read your name, Ryan. God, I forgot who it was. Was it Elijah? Someone was asking, and I didn't change it on the website. Someone was asking if the gelatin is pork or beef. It is grass-fed beef. I went and I double checked, and it is grass-fed beef-based gelatin. Okay. So if that's something that you're interested in, the jalapeno bread, yeah. It is hella good. It is hella good. There's a couple other different types of bread that we're going to be coming out with. Judy, did you get it? Okay. What did you think? She says yes, the bread's delicious. What did you think? Does it need more heat, or is it just enough heat with some savory? Ooh. Oh my God. Joy scared me. Girl, you scared me. You scared me, Joy. It's really gluten free. It's gluten free. It's grain free. It's pork free. It's cow free. Well, cow milk, cow dairy free. Joy. I like to sniff her. Did it arrive safely, Judy? I'm like, is this safe enough? Is the packaging safe enough? So yeah, okay. I gotta go though, guys. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your day. I'm gonna try and go live later today to talk about a few things in the Soul Sanctuary.love. I hope you guys can join me. If you're not already part of the Soul Sanctuary.love, oh, she's such a sweet girl. I love doing that to her. She loves it too. Okay, go. I gotta go, guys. I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in church.